Gilbert Gottfried joining us right now on the phone. Gilbert, how are you?
Hi.
You all right, Gilbert?
Yes. This is my last day on Earth.
Hey, who does the best impression of you?
Oh, God, there's been a few. I know Jimmy Fallon does a very funny one of me. And the strangest ones I've heard, well, I was once in an episode of Hannah Montana, and Miley Cyrus imitated me.
That's just her normal voice, I think.
Yeah. and one time, if I could just go back in time now and film this, because this is when he was known just as an athlete/actor. O.J. Simpson did an imitation of me. And, so if I could go back in time, I'd record that. I wouldn't stop the murders from happening. But
Gilbert, I have an impression of you, doing an impression, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And I want to thank you because you've given me some a great outlet to annoy my friends and family because I often walk around the house doing your Groucho Marx. This is Groucho, and sometimes it doesn't always seem.
Is that how it sounds, Gilbert?
Yeah, it's like, see, I became fascinated with the Groucho from more so when he came back to showbiz.
Came back to life?
On like the Dick Cavett show and stuff. And he would talk like that. And he'd go, in my day, we used to wear shoes. And shoes were something that you put on your feet. And I go, oh my God. I was both scared and depressed and also totally fascinated.
You know what I hate is people who dislike impressions of them. Like I know John, who is it? John Madden was upset for years at Frank Caliendo for the impression that Caliendo did of him. I think it's the ultimate flattery when somebody does an impression of your voice.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've heard like a lot of people imitate me, and it's always been funny, except when you're walking down the street and they're going, hey, give me that, and
The imitations are flattering, but sometimes the comments, I could imagine, maybe aren't.
Oh, yeah. And also, I remember I grew up in that time period when there were the out-and-out impressionists that used to go on TV. You don't find those as much anymore. They used to go on TV like Frank Gosh and Rich Little.
Yep.
And they would go, if Humphrey Bogart was a waiter, it might go something like this. And then they turn around and muss up their hair and turn their collar up.
Yeah, these days, a guy like Frank Caliendo he doesn't need any setups or anything. He just drifts from one into the other. Very talented. Talking to Gilbert Gottfried on the Celebrity Hotline here on the Talk of the Town, 100.7 FM WUTQ. And you've got a podcast you're doing. I read this. I'd never heard of this before, with Chevy Chase and with Artie Lang, huh?
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah, Chevy, Artie, Weird Al Yankovic, Bob Saget. And then we get like much older people too. Like I found this woman, her name was Janet Ann Gallo, who was in one of the original Frankenstein movies when she was a little girl.
Wow.
And she talked about like playing hide and go seek with Lon Chaney and Bela Lugosi.
Oh, there you go. Can you give us a little bit of your Dracula Godfrey?
Listen to them, children of the night. What music they make.
Gilbert, I'm excited for this podcast, and you mentioned Chevy and and Artie, and this is where I get some of my background of you because you've worked with Artie before on the Stern Show, and some of the classic bits that you guys just produced with, I mentioned the Groucho. I love the Seinfeld call in which you and Howard went for about an hour as answering machine.
We one time called him up, and for for as long as the tape lasted, they still had tape back then. So it's like, hi, why do people have answering machines? Is it 'cause they aren't home and you have to leave a message? Why do you have to leave a message? And we stayed on the phone long enough that it ran out his whole message.
It was like a 60-minute tape.
Yes.
How do folks find your podcast, Gilbert?
Oh, it's on www.gilbertpodcast.com.
Easy.
Very easy.
We will do that. And how many different episodes do you produce? How many do you crank out a bunch at a time?
Oh God, usually 1 or 2 a week, but they only have one person on a week. It's like, so we did Artie Lang. That was a crazy one, and we did it in front of an audience. And and now this week we were interviewing this guy who wrote a book because he lived with Groucho Marx.
Yes.
He was like a secretary to him. And he lived in his house in those last crazy days where Groucho was with this younger woman who was, more than a slight bit on the nutty side.
Do you mean nuts like peanuts?
Do you?
Well, in my day, we would have nuts, and you would eat the nuts. And this was called eating nuts.
Do you do these podcasts? You said one was in front of a live audience. Do you do them at different venues or sometimes at your house? Where do you do it?
Sometimes in my house. I had a couple of people, Dick Cavett came over to my house. Other times we do on the phone. I prefer it in person, so we've done it at this place, Nutmeg Studios. That's a recording place. And we've done it at the Friars Club.
It's funny. I used to do a radio show in Syracuse. We come down to New York every year to do a show. My partner and I got taken out to the Friars Club for lunch by Soupy Sales one time, believe it or not. I know.
Oh, God.
It was great. Had a great time with him. I know you got to go here. Can we get a quick ID from you for our show, please?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just say your name, and it's called The Talk of the Town. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and you're listening to The Talk of the Town. And the talk of the town is, don't listen to the talk of the town.
All right, enough out of you. We'll see you, buddy.
Thanks, Gilbert.
Thank you.
Boy, he should have some fun once in a while, huh?
God.